You are listening to the Yummy Mummy Podcast, episode number 156.
Welcome to the Yummy Mummy Podcast, where you will learn brand new and shockingly different tools to lose weight for the last time. And now, here's your host, certified life and weight loss coach, Laura Conley.
Hello, Yum Mums. What's going on? Oh, I have so many things to tell you. Tomorrow is Halloween. I'm recording this like a week and a day before. What is happening? Are you guys excited for Halloween? What are you guys being? We're being the Grinch and Martha May and Cindy Lou Who and Max the dog. And it's just so cute. And it's going to be some great outfits for ho, 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 hot for the holidays. Save the date, you guys, November 26th. It's a Sunday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, which is, of course, 5 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. Eastern. Mark your calendars. We're going to do a masterclass on ho, 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 hot for the holidays. Yes, in your body for sure, but just as importantly, I should say, hot in your spirit, hot in your mind, hot with emotions, okay? So this is basically how to love the holidays, how to ditch the overwhelm, how to just really enjoy yourself and feel like your best self right now. So you guys are really going to want to make sure that you sign up for that. That link is going to be portal.lauraconley.com/hot. It'll be in the show notes. Go there now, though. Portal.lauraconley.com/hot. You're going to want to be there because this is going to be your guide. Think of the word hot. Like when you feel hot, you feel good. You feel alive. You feel energetic, right? So if you feel like you end up on the Hot Mess Express, especially during the holiday season, number one, this podcast that we're going to do right now is going to be for you. And number two, this masterclass is going to be for you. So we're going to talk about how to not gain an F ton of weight, how to not feel gross, and how to overcome overwhelm, how to actually really enjoy the holidays and the people in them, and how to plan and know exactly what you're going to do for 2024 if 2024 is the year that you know you're going to lose weight for the last time. Okay, so go sign up, portal.lauraconley.com/hot, H-O-T. Sometimes I like two T's in hot, but this is just one T. So that is a little bit of like kind of the client comment and what's going on. That's what we're being for Halloween. What are you guys being for Halloween? I also just sent out an email too. So check your email. If you're not on my email list, make sure you go to lauraconley.com and get on my email list because I just sent out, and you're going to want this guide of like how to kind of navigate some of the treats that are available, right? So there was a whole guide on how to handle Halloween. Obviously, we did a podcast on that as well. So make sure you're on my email list because we do send out like good stuff, you guys, not just like crapola, like really good high value stuff that people actually thank me for. Let's hear a client comment. I just wrote this down on my book. My client, Jennifer, said, I could weep with gratitude for my past self for taking that chance. The idea that I could still be where I was back then, I'm so glad I'm not there. She says, and this part like made me cry. She says, I had a beautiful life. I just wasn't living it. And now I am. Oh my God. I think so many of us can relate to that. And I think so many of us feel shame because we do have these, from the outside looking in, these beautiful lives, but inside we're not happy. It doesn't match, right? So if that resonates at all, make sure that just go to lauraconley.com for all your needs. Make sure you're on the wait list for the next round of the Yummy Mummy because if this is something that you want, you get to have it. You are not a special unicorn. Every single one of my clients, including myself, thought we were broken. We thought that this wasn't for us in this lifetime. I promise you, it is. You get to have this. So pretty please with a cherry on top, do this for yourself. Do this for your family. Do this for your future. Okay. So let's dive into this episode, you guys. This episode is like my favorite. Oh my God. I'm so excited about this topic. It like, oh my God, it makes me just shine and just get silly. We are talking about drop the dread. Do you guys have a little hint of dread? Just be honest with me. Truth or truth? So we did this last year inside the Yummy Mummy. We talked a lot about dropping the dread, and that's why I wanted to bring it to you. we really like the holidays. A lot of us really like them, but there's this kind of like side of dread because have you guys heard of the Holiday Handbook? Yes? No? Well, we all have one. Unless you were in the Yummy Mummy last year, you might not have it. But the Holiday Handbook is a book that we all get kind of like against our own will. We all get this handbook and it tells us like how to be a good mom during the holidays, what to do, what not to do, like buying all the gifts for the in-laws, inviting both families, even though they don't get along, to Christmas Eve, researching like the perfect recipe, testing the perfect recipe out before you even bring it to the brunch or whatever. What about hosting the cookie exchange for like the 27th year in a row? Making the cute craft. Elf on the Shelf. Do you guys do Elf on the Shelf? Right? These are all the things that are inside the Holiday Handbook that say, hey, you have to do this if you want to be a good mom. If you want your kids and your family to have a good holiday season, you have to do these things. Otherwise, they're not going to have a good holiday season. What about like obsessively decorate your house? What about pictures with Santa? What about 2 sets of pictures with Santa? What about holiday photo cards? What about, I mean, I could go on and on. What would you guys add to the list? I would actually love to hear from y'all. What would you put on this list? Like, what is inside your holiday handbook? What about like going to the annual Nutcracker? Volunteering in the classroom? It's like the list is endless. We already have, as women, like 7 freaking full-time jobs. And then when it's October 25th until January 7th, we have a whole entire another full-time job. So I want you to think about what is in your holiday handbook that you dread. And I want to dare you to just drop one thing. Now you can do more than one, but I want to encourage you. And I really, again, I want to hear from you. What do you want to drop? So you probably already know because I said it and then knee jerk, your body probably gave you the answer. Your body's probably like, oh, yep, it's the holiday cards. Yep. Now, this isn't really the scary part of the dare, right? The scary part of the dare is like, well, what are the other people going to do when you don't follow the holiday handbook? Some of them are going to be disappointed, y'all. Some of them are going to be mad. Some of them are going to give you looks. Right? So that's the hard part, is putting up with other people and their opinions, right? Now, I want to encourage you for just 1 year, like let's just try disappointing someone else in order to appoint our future selves or in order to not disappoint ourselves, right? Because when you're living and dying by that holiday handbook, you're disappointing yourself, right? Disappointment means a missed appointment. So maybe you're missing the self-care appointment with yourself, right? Maybe you have on your calendar or inside your head, like you go to yoga once a day, or you meditate once a day, or you journal once a day, or you go for a walk once a day. Oftentimes, y'all, those walks just get wedged out, right? Those little bubble baths, the hot coffee, it just gets wedged right the F out. Because the other stuff that seems important and urgent moves on in without you really even deciding whether or not it should get to move on in. It just sort of lands there and you're like, oh, and then you're like a victim to your calendar of all these important yet urgent things that don't actually light you up. And some of them probably do. Like I love the holidays actually, especially now because I do them the way that I want to do them, not the way that, you know, my distant relative wants me to do them. So, what is your one thing? I double, triple dog dare you to drop it and see and watch that you don't die. So, yes, might you get a look because you don't send out a holiday card? Might you get a couple, eye rolls or a little clap back if you don't host the cookie exchange or you don't get like matching effing Christmas pajamas? Yeah, some people might be disappointed. They might make a comment. They might cry like your 7-year-old and your 5-year-old because Elf on the Shelf isn't happening anymore. People might cry. But guess what? You are going to feel more like yourself. And here's why this is on a weight loss podcast. Like, why are we even talking about this? Isn't this a weight loss podcast? Okay, guys, listen up. If you are dreading your holiday season and you are living and dying by that calendar that has like your list of activities that equal 8 full-time jobs, you are going to be left at the end of the day wanting comfort, wanting to de-stress, wanting just a little something because you didn't get a little something all day, right? Just because you deserve a little peppermint bark because you just crushed it with the holiday gifts for all of your extended family and for all of his extended family. You deserve a little peppermint bark and then a little more peppermint bark and a little more and a little more. And oops, the whole tin's gone. Oh, let's finish that off with some caramel popcorn. So if you don't fill your pleasure cup up, the only way to do it is going to be with food. And that's going to leave you at the end of the holiday season feeling like crap. And then you will have disappointed yourself. So I'm like, let's disappoint other people. Like, we're already disappointing some people by just breathing. Like, what if we put ourselves on the top of the list and started not disappointing ourselves at the end of the day? Let's actually talk through it. What would be the one thing? And then where's the fallout? Like, why don't you want to give it up? Like, why is it scary? And then actually look at it. Like, what is your argument? And then can you argue back? What could you say back? Like, let's just try it this year. We've never tried it this way this year. Let's just do 1 year. There's like movies like this, right? What are the movies? Like the 4 Christmases or Christmas with the Cranks? I don't know. But there's a movie where people are like, oh, is it called Skipping Christmas? Maybe it's called Skipping Christmas. I don't know. You guys have to tell me that too. People obviously dream of this. And I want you to just start small. Just take one thing. You want to hear what mine is? I actually like the holiday cards. Like, I'm obsessed when people send them to me. I'm not going to give anybody guilt or shame when they don't send me one, but I do love them. And I love creating one. I don't like sending them. I do not like that. So I'm just going to do one and then put it on social media. And that's it. Bada bing, bada boom. I actually like having the little photo shoot. This is another thing that I kind of drop. Like, sometimes I dread the photo shoot where we all have to be like happy and no one can be crying and the outfits have to coordinate and like, ugh. So this year I'm like, let's do it in our house. Like, that's weird. Let's just do it in our house in like our pajamas and like, I don't know, see what happens. So that's what we're doing. On November 19th, we're doing a little photo shoot in my house in who the F knows what kind of clothes. I don't know. And then I'm going to throw it up on some Canva, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to put it on Instagram. It's going to take me, I don't know, total of 75 minutes. So easy. So that is one thing that I'm dropping. And in past years, I have a thing with like sending mail, even though I do like when I'm actually doing it, I like doing it and I love receiving it. But I stopped sending thank you notes because it didn't have anything to do with my level of gratitude. It was just a huge waste of my time. And I realized I could let people know that I was really grateful without sending them a card in the mail. So I dropped that. I think it was last year. I have gone back and forth about the thank you notes so many times, you guys. So here's what I want to talk about next. You might not want to drop the thing that you're dreading or the 3 things that you're dreading because you're afraid that you're gonna feel guilty. Does it resonate or does it resonate? Right? So I want you to ask yourself, is the guilt that you are feeling from dropping the thing true guilt or false guilt? I'm going to explain what that means now. So true guilt is guilt that you feel after something has happened and you feel guilty because it was in misalignment with your values. So for example, if I yell at my daughter and then I feel guilty afterwards, that's actually true guilt. That's actually real guilt. That's actually guilt that serves me because it forces me to look at my behavior and say, oh, the reason I'm feeling guilty is because that's not who I am, nor is it who I want to be. This is signaling to me that I need to repair with myself and tell myself that I love myself unconditionally, that I make mistakes and that I want to do better and how can I do better, and then go repair with my daughter. So that guilt is actually really, really super helpful in my opinion. The false guilt is the guilt that you get from saying no, thank you to the 7th holiday party, right? You get the invitation. You're like, I don't want to go. You're like, they invite me every year. And you say, no, thank you. And then you see Megan at the bus stop, Karen at the bus stop. And they're like, oh, why can't you come to my party? You never can come. It's going to be so fun. And you're like, well, I can't come because like, I don't want to go. It's probably not what you're going to say, right? You're just like, I just have too much going on. I'm so sorry. And then you feel a little pain of guilt. That pain is false guilt. That is guilt coming from our culture or coming from your neighborhood culture or coming from your family's culture. It's coming from somewhere outside of you. That's not you. It's society's should. It's the holiday handbook that you accidentally inherited without choice, right? So it's okay. Don't be mad at yourself for feeling that guilt. Like sometimes I get so mad at myself when I feel a negative emotion and I know the negative emotion is like irrational. It's still okay. Be with yourself. It's okay, Laura. I'm feeling guilty. Yeah, this is false guilt. This is something that society put on me that I actually am going to say no thank you to. So take a deep breath, breathe through that guilt, and then say no thank you and recommit and look at why you're doing what you're doing. No, you're saying no because at 5:45 when it's 15 minutes to that party and you've said, yes, you're not going to want to go. Take care of your future self, right? So I want you to be willing to really have your own back and to prove to yourself that you can honor yourself and your wishes, your deep desires, right? And your truth. You're allowed to do life however you want to do your life. So I just want you to start small with one tiny little thing. I am really dying to hear what you guys want to give up. The lists that we came up with last year inside the Yummy Mummy experience were so good. Everybody was like, oh yeah, I want to do that next year. Oh my God, I'm doing that too. You know what? We really encouraged each other and then it became fun and it kind of like a safe space, right? So maybe you send this podcast to a friend and you guys do it together. You do drop the dread dare this holiday season. One thing. Okay, you guys. So that's what I'm dropping. I'm not sending cards. And do you see how it's small? It's like I'm not dropping the whole tradition. So there might be traditions that you have in your life that you like part of the tradition. And you can still, because that's another thing people say. People are like, I don't want to stop doing this because it's traditional. Number one, maybe who cares? Number two, how can you keep that tradition alive without killing yourself? Ooh. That was a good one. How can you keep the tradition alive without killing yourself? You guys, I get these visions of us as women, as moms, just walking around shells of ourselves like zombies because we are living and dying by society's rules, not our own rules. So you get to decide this year, right? Even my husband and I were already talking about like gifts and stuff. And we're like, we're just like not going to go crazy like at all. And that's not really dropping the dread because like I kind of like to go crazy. But my point is look at your own rules, look at your own values. And yes, you can keep the traditions alive without making yourself bananas. Because you guys, if we're living our lives by our rules, we don't have to seek those false pleasures at the end of the day because there weren't any true pleasures, right? We don't have to get the peppermint bark out because there was nothing good in our day and we need something good, right? So this is, again, why it's really important because I think so many of us turn to food because we don't like our lives. So like at least the popcorn will be good for right now. It's going to suck tomorrow morning when before we even open our eyes, we remember that we ate popcorn when we said we weren't going to eat popcorn. Enter cue shame spiral. So let's get to the root by not taking the walk, your daily walk or your day, whatever your thing is that you love every day. Don't you dare let that thing get wedged out because of other people's expectations. At that, no, what are your expectations for your life and for you honoring your own word? Why don't we let go of other people's expectations and actually turn inward and look and see? So that is my offering. I got a little wild today because I'm very passionate about this because I really, again, I think this solves at the root. I know I see this in my experiences, and that's why we do a lot of work on emotional eating, and that's why we do a lot of work on true pleasures. What is your true like, can you be happy in your day-to-day life? No, I don't mean every second, y'all. Like, duh, your kid's still gonna make you like wipe their butt. They're still gonna have temper tantrums. They're still gonna fight with each other. Of course, like, still real life. You still might have a boss. You still might have a trafficy commute. But can we enjoy the day to day? Can we find the extraordinary in the ordinary? Have you guys been hearing about glimmers, like these, like looking every day for a little glimmer? Oh my God, you guys, I'll tell you a glimmer. Ugh, I had a couple glimmers already today because I look for them now. So I want you to look for glimmers. It's like little tiny highlights of the day. My daughter, you guys, the people at the bus stop think I'm crazy because I cry like multiple times of the week because my daughter wants me to stand on the curb and wave to her until the bus leaves. And we can be waving to each other for like a good 5 minutes because there's literally like 30 kids that get on the bus and they have to scan their little passes in. And so it takes a while. So we will be there waving vigorously at each other, blowing kisses. And I just weep. I just cry. I just sob because I'm like, this is going to be gone in a flash. And I savor it. What could you savor? What can you savor right now in this time? Oh, and then my friend in yoga, she just like, sounds so creepy, you guys. She just tickled my leg like in yoga. And I was just like, oh my God, I just like love that. You just like love me and I just like love you. What are the other glimmers? Oh my God, another glimmer. So now I look for them and I find them all day. The snow on the top of Long's Peak, this giant mountain where I live, like, oh, it's a glimmer. Like, oh, how about my son? Another glimmer today. He literally tackled me. He like tackled me. So, what glimmers can you look for? How can you fill your pleasure cup up every day so then you don't have to use food to fill it up? Because that's not a true pleasure. That's a false pleasure and it leaves you feeling worse, not better. And you know how you can also test that too? Is like, for example, I had this, oh my God, you guys, I have to tell you more about this later, but we just had the best little staycation, my husband and I, for our anniversary. And this is how you can tell if treats like food, if you go off protocol or off your yummy mummy map. Like, for example, I planned a joy eat for our anniversary. We went to this restaurant called Tavernetta. So I wanted to eat pasta. I do love pasta. And it was planned ahead of time. And then the next day, I looked back with so much enjoyment, right? Not with regret. And that's exactly what we create in the Yummy Mummy. Like, you get to eat every single thing you want. I mean, you don't get to eat pasta all day, every day, most likely. I mean, we could test it. We can see. Might be able to lose weight. Everyone has a different Yummy Mummy map inside the Yummy Mummy experience, which is just so cool. But that's how you can usually tell if it was in alignment with you and what you want to create. Are you looking back on that food that may or may not be healthy? Obviously, healthy is subjective, but may or may not serve you in the long run. When you look back on it, does it give you enjoyment? Are you like, yeah, that was amazing? Or do you feel regret? So usually when you plan something out and you're like, I'm going to have whatever on Thanksgiving, or I'm going to have whatever on Christmas, or I'm going to have whatever on Hanukkah, or I'm going to have whatever. If it's planned for, you can really enjoy it like before it happens, while it's happening, and after. So I'm going on a bit of a tangent, but this is my way of saying that you don't have to get rid of all the treats. It's just that can treats, like food treats, not be the number one pleasure item. And it makes it so much easier when you are loving your life and you are putting yourself first and what you want the holiday season to look like. So pretty pleased with the cherry on top. Comment on Instagram, leave a review, email me, laura@lauraconley.com. Tell me what you're dropping. Tell me, are you taking me up on this dare? And what dreadful thing are you dropping this holiday season? I cannot wait. It's going to be so good. All right, you guys, I hope you have the absolute best week ever. And I'm not kidding. I really hope you have the best week ever. Again, make sure that you sign up, portal.lauraconley.com/hot for hot for the holidays, and lauraconley.com if you're not already on my list. Lastly, pretty please send this podcast to a friend. Share it in any way, shape, or form. If that means leaving a review, oh my God, I would be so appreciative, you guys. A rating, a review, whatever. Let's pay it forward and let's have the best holiday season ever. Okay. Oh, I love you so much. Ciao, ciao. Hey, if you've enjoyed listening to this podcast, I would love it if you leave a rate, review, and a subscribe on whatever you're listening to this podcast in. Pretty please with a cherry on top. It would help me so much, and it would help all the other mamas out there hear this message. Thank you in advance. I really appreciate it. And you have to come check out the Yummy Mummy experience. It's my proven lose weight for the last time group coaching and course. Head to lauraconley.com and just click work with me. Other than that, you guys, I would love to give you a free gift. If you want your free listener only gift, go to lauraconley.com/gift. And from there, you will get your free best ever weight loss hack. So cool. The last thing I want to tell you, you guys, is I do have a free Facebook group. It's called, you guessed it, The Yummy Mummy. Lose weight for the last time, end body drama, and get food freedom. You can just search that on Facebook, or again, you can head to the show notes and you'll find the link there. All right, you guys, have the best day ever.